And the son of former Victorian Premier Steve Bracks has come to the defence of opposition leader Peter Dutton's son, Tom. In an op-ed, Nick Bracks says he feels sorry for Tom after a photo emerged of him last week holding a bag of white powder. Nick weathered a similar scandal in 2007 when he was busted drink driving.
And Nick comes to us now from the Big Apple. Nick, what made you think that you had to write something about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique experience to go through, and I found it really, really difficult when I went through it, and it's something that you can't really relate to many people on. And I remember at the time Angus Kennett actually wrote a letter to me because he had been through a similar thing, Jeff Kennett's son, and that made a huge difference, just hearing from someone who went through it and being able to hear that there was a pathway to, work through that. So I felt sorry for the guy and thought I, needed to speak out about it.
Nick, take us behind the scenes when a crisis like this comes out of nowhere. I mean, I presume the media minders that were working in your dad's office, they get brought in. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, they get brought in, it goes into sort of crisis mode. And we knew growing up, being in that environment, that if you do stuff up or things happen publicly, that's what can happen. So it did become a media storm when that happened, and, couldn't leave the house for days. We're dealing with the PR team, looking at how we have to, what we say, how we conduct ourselves through it. So it becomes a full-on experience, and again, something you're not really ready for at that age.
Did you feel like growing up that maybe you were less important than, say, your dad's career?
Not from how my dad treated me, but from the pressure that I put on myself. I mean, you're growing up being referred to as you're the son of this person, and you're thinking, well, I'm not talking to other people asking about their parents. I'm Nick, and it makes you think, well, what do I need to do for people to see me as Nick Bracks, not the son of Steve Bracks?
Nick, I remember it well. I was on radio when that accident happened and the media storm that it created. And then out of the back of that, it did have an impact on Steve's political career. And if my memory serves me right, it led in part to him cutting that political career short. Am I right?
To a degree. I mean, he already had plans of, what he was going to do with that. And I was, speaking to him about that. So really that part didn't have too much of an impact on me. But on a public level, people were, blaming me for ending his career and a whole lot of things. And, as a 19-year-old kid, hearing that it has an impact on you, but I was able to deal with it because I, had the support of my family and knew my dad's actual reasons for doing things. But again, being that young and having people say these different things to you for, something that you've done in your own private life can become a difficult thing to deal with.
Nick, you mentioned Angus Kennett got in touch with you when your ordeal happened. Have you been in touch with Tom?
I haven't been in touch with Tom, but I'd love to speak to him if and if he ever wanted to. I'd love to have a chat to him, and like I was saying, feel sorry for him. I hope he's coping okay. I wouldn't condone the behaviour, but he's an 18-year-old kid experimenting with things like a lot of other kids, and it can be a really tough thing to deal with. So if it could ever help him, hearing from someone who's been through a similar thing, I'd love to chat to him.
Oh, it's a hugely decent thing that you've done, Nick. Thank you so much for chatting with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.